Hey man, say man, we back again. First thing I want to do is give a huge shout out to Jamel Heron. Yeah, he got his own YouTube channel and he had Vergil Ortiz on last night. So y'all go subscribe to Jamel Heron's channel. Him and his co-host, man, they put it down last night. They had Vergil Ortiz on and Vergil stood on all 10 toes and he stood in that fire. He answered all the questions. He didn't duck no smoke. And we got to see what Vergil is really on. You know what I'm talking about? So we're going to talk about that. We ain't going to waste no time. But before we do, make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's cook on it. I got some audio I want y'all to hear. You know, Blue Blood, he came in there and yeah, he was firing away at Vergil. And Vergil, hey, he stood on all 10 toes, man. So first thing we want to get to is Vergil Ortiz. You could tell, man, he listens to what the fans got to say, and it do bother him. Although he always say he don't give a F about what the fans got to say. A lot of these fighters say that. But they listen, they hear everything, and it do get to them. And as far as the Errol Spence situation, man, you could tell that it kind of got to him, you know, because in that interview last night, Vergil Ortiz, he went from, I want to fight Errol Spence, I can do what I want to do with my career, you know, I do what I want to do, to like, you know what, y'all right, I don't even really want to fight Errol Spence right now. Like, I want to see Errol Spence get a fight in because that's what Jamel Heron and his co-host and everybody was saying. Like, bro, like, you know, hey, Errol Spence been out the ring almost 3 years. He ain't got no trainer. He gonna be having a new trainer, all of that, and you want to fight him right now? And Vergil, he been listening, so it's kind of like he backtracked on it, right? He went from, I can do what I want to do to, nah, I don't want to fight Errol Spence right now. I want to see Errol Spence get a fight in first and see how he looks. And then, depending on how he looks, then we'll make that decision on Errol Spence. So Errol Spence ain't on my hit list just of right now. So that's good. You know what I'm saying? The things that we've been saying as fans and content creators and what just the whole boxing world has been saying, he listened to it. And, you know, fighters got pride. And Vergil Ortiz, he got a whole lot of pride. So he wasn't finna go out like that. Vergil kind of understood when he sat back and thought about the situation, like it kind of looked like some weak shit. You know what I'm talking about? Just to keep it raw. But let's get to what everybody want to talk about. You know, because everybody was calling in, getting on Vergil Ortiz's helmet about the whole boot situation, about how his whole team is coming out looking like that they don't want no parts of the Jaron boots in this fight, right? And how he was coming out talking about Errol Spence and kind of going around the boot situation. In this interview, right? And shout out to Vergil Ortiz, but I gotta keep it a buck. When it first started off, he was kind of pointing the finger at Jaron Ennis like, oh, I don't gotta fight you right now. I was gonna fight you twice already and you didn't take the fight, right? You didn't take the fight. So he was kind of using that as an excuse. Like, we tried to fight him twice already, so you didn't take the fight. So basically, now I can do what I want to do. But people kept on his helmet like, nah, bro, like, that's the fight that we want. You know, you stood in that ring, you told that man face to face that you was going to fight him, so you got to stand on that, right? And as far as Vergil Ortiz saying that that Boots could have fought him twice already, he turned the fight down twice. I ain't gonna say twice. I'll say once, right? Because at one point, Boots was still at 147. He hadn't unified yet, and he was telling the whole world that he wanted to unify. Like, that was his dream, to unify in that division. And at that point in time, they wanted Boots to move up to 154 before he fought Stanley on it. And he was just like, you know, he decided to stay at 147 and unify, right? He hadn't went to the division yet. He hadn't unified. We can't really blame him for that. Now, what I got on Boots' helmet for is when Boots announced that he was moving up to 154, the Vergil Ortiz fight was on the table because it was on the table. Let's keep it real. And Boots turned it down and said that he wanted a tune up. So I got on Boots' helmet just like I've been getting on Vergil Ortiz's helmet. You got to keep it raw and straight down the middle. So I feel that Boots should have moved up and took that fight. But all of that is past tense because right now, right, all of the smoke is on the table for both of them. We know Boots want the fight, right? We can't say that Boots don't want the fight. And then it looked like Vergil Ortiz and his team was backtracking. We know his team don't want the fight, right? That's just what it is. They start backtracking. So once again, in this same interview, Vergil Ortiz, after kind of using those excuses, and he seen people wasn't really buying that shit. People didn't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? The callers didn't want to hear that. The Jamel Herring, he was keeping it real. Like, man, we want to see you and Boots now. Like, that's the fight that everybody want to see. And after talking about it and him hearing what everybody had to say, he was like, hey, I got a hit list. And Jaron Boots Ennis is number one on my hit list. That's the fight I want. But then, you know, the team and all of that. So shout out to Blue Blood. Blue Blood called in and put him right on the spot. I want to let y'all hear this, right? I want to let y'all hear this audio when Blue Blood called in. And we got our answer. Check this out. And we know why the fight don't happen if the fight don't happen. Listen to this, y'all.
So I want to know from you, is that from you, not your team, not everybody, Vergil Ortiz himself, when he laid his head on the pillow, is that the fight that you want, and are you in control, and will you make the last decision based on that?
That is the fight that I want. And you just said it earlier. The thing is, it's a team. And you know what? In business, sometimes people have differing opinions. If I could I had 100% control, I would fight Boots next right now. I'd sign it right now. But the fact is that it's a business. And not only do we have the managers, do we have the promoters, do we have the coaches, you also have the broadcasting, like the zone, you know. You have there's so many things that go into play that it's complicated. It really is complicated. But if you were to ask me right now what fight I would want, I would fight Boots next.
There you have it. You know, because Blue Blood asked him, like, we know the team and all of that and all that other stuff, but are you in control? And if you are in control, if you had the decision, what would you do? And so he pretty much said, basically, no, I'm not in control. That's what he pretty much said, is it ain't about him. It's a lot of more complicated stuff behind the scenes. And, you know, just to sum it all up is, yeah, I want the fight. If it was up to me, Vergil Ortiz, I will sign the contract today and make that fight happen next. But it ain't really up to me. I got to listen to my team, and we know my team don't really want it right now. My team is telling me to go different routes. That's basically what he was saying. But if it was up to me, the fighter, I want the smoke. And I believe Vergil Ortiz really wants that smoke because Vergil is prideful. Vergil is hearing what the people said, and he ain't finna go out like that. So regardless of all of that, right? Vergil did give his hit list. He said number one is Boots. What's the dude? My man Bang called him Murder Zayev. That's what my man Bang, shout out to Bang, called him Murder Zayev, right? And then Sebastian Fundora. But he said he feel that the two toughest fights in 154 is Sebastian Fundora. He said he thinks Sebastian Fundora is a hell of a fighter and real difficult to beat for anybody. And I agree with, right? He said Murder Zayev, he said he don't really think he like that. He said he ain't like that. And he said for Xander Zayev, he said Xander really ain't like that. He said that he thinks that Sebastian Fundora will get Xander out of there in like a couple rounds. He says Xander is the weak link out of everybody. So he kept it a buck, man, and he stood on all 10 toes because people was calling in there, getting on his helmet. They was on top of his helmet, and he stood in that fire, man, and he didn't get pissed off. He answered all the questions. He kept it trill, and he stayed there, and he ain't try to leave. He ain't try to escape at the back door. And that's why I rock with Vergil Ortiz. Vergil Ortiz is the real one. You know what I'm talking about? It's just that he's starting to listen, or he was starting to listen to Oscar De La Hoya and his manager and his daddy. And that's when he started backtracking. Because they telling him, nah, don't fight Boots right now. You don't gotta fight Boots. You accepted to fight twice. Now you do what you want. That's what they saying, right? So he started to repeat what they were saying. But him, as a fighter, you know what I'm saying? He wanna get in that paint. You know what I'm talking about? So shout out to Vergil Ortiz. And he called out Jermell Charlo too. Hey, he called out Jermell Charlo and told the secret that Jermell Charlo been ducking him. We'll talk about that in another video. So stay tuned, because I really got a lot to say on that. But y'all let me know what y'all feel about this. We will get the fight. I don't think it's going to be next, but we're going to get the fight. Anyway, y'all smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again, and I'm gone.